What's up, everybody? Welcome to the PlayStation Forecast episode 18. I am your host, Alex Derrickson, and hope you're great. I'm feeling good. Still getting acclimated to the situation, kind of reshaping where everything is and the like. So it may look a little different than last week. I think I'm getting the hang of where everything is, kind of getting the better feel of OBS as I get the feelers out for the, what my laptop can and cannot handle as I do something like this. Word to the wise, if you want to do streaming or video recording, invest in a really just good mid to high grade computer. I mean, that should be without saying. You can get by with a nice, like, Asus laptop like I have, but you gotta finagle some upgrades here and there. But that's neither here nor there. That's not why we are here. That's not why you are here. It's not why you keep coming back every week. Which I still forever appreciate. I have not played much, which is just again some of all of my parts right there. Just trying to get caught up on some stuff around here. Trying to get caught up, on some projects I've been wanting to do. So that's been fun. Just trying to find a nice, let life just get some semblance of balance back before I still keep trying to go head on into this. I'm spreading myself too thin sometimes. I feel like not with the show, but with just life in general. It's a lot. It's an undertaking, but I enjoy doing this. So let's just get into it. This is the PlayStation Forecast, and it does come to you each and every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on youtube.com/pressx2alex and podcast services, including Spotify, around this whole very round earth. And speaking of the shape of the world, my review for Shape of the World from Hollow Tree Games is live on youtube.com/pressx2alex. So check that out. I bet if you look up at the top right corner of this video right now, that's the left, right now, you'll see a little link that'll take you there. But go to it after the show. I want to keep you on the channel, but you're here for one reason. I don't want to go skedaddling you off on another quest like some ridiculous RPG of some kind, making you go to one side of the map just to go to the other side of the map. Hate it. But check that out. I thought it was okay. I get more into the details and the granularity as to why. It's cool. I talked about it a little bit last week. It's somewhere between Journey and No Man's Sky, but it's more on the end of the No Man's Sky end of it, where the procedural generation is cool and everything, but it also kind of works against it. I like I said, I get more into it there. The soundtrack's awesome. I can't state that enough. It's a great, just banger of a soundtrack. And so Hollow Tree Games did a lot of stuff right there, but in turn, I think for almost everything they did right, they may have done like a half step wrong. So check it out. It's on the channel. I think I gave it a 6.8, spoiler alert, but watch the video and find out why. I'm looking to hopefully have some new gameplay videos coming. I know I keep saying this every week, but sometime maybe late next week, if not, or late this week, or maybe early next. I have some other games I've been wanting to kind of showcase with Mugsters and Mother Gunship, and then hoping to maybe get another review out in like a week and a half, 2 weeks. I gotta be more realistic with the timeline. This Tuesday is 9 a.m. It's like butter. It's always gonna be there. It's like a something that's always there, like your reflection in a mirror. Unless you're a vampire, it's always going to. This will never leave you until one day I just can't do it anymore. But that's neither here nor there. So check out Shape of the World review. Again, thank you for tuning in each and every week. It means a lot to me. Like, I can't tell you that enough. But without further ado, let's get into the news. It's a little bit of a packed week. It's light. It's quality over quantity, which is which is something I always like. You get those weeks where it's like there's 15 things to talk about, but of those 15 things, how many are really worth talking about? This week it's like 7, but they're all pretty good. We'll just start here. The Gravity Rush 2 servers have been officially shut down. This comes from Euros Pavlovic or Pavlovich. I'm not good with the Eastern European names. I know Drazen Petrovic, but Euros Pavlovic from PlayStation Lifestyle. About a month ago, SIE Japan Studio and Project Siren revealed that Gravity Rush 2 servers are going to be shut down. The servers were initially intended to shut down in January, but quite a big number of fans started a campaign helped by using the hashtag #Don'tForgetGravityRush. And amazingly, it worked, but only for a while. It was a good and valiant fight by so many loyal fans. Unfortunately, a few weeks ago, it was confirmed that regardless of the huge appeal from many, many fans, that game's servers will in fact shut down anyway. Yes, today, at the time of posting, it's scheduled to finally happen. The fans managed to prolong the servers for 6 months. As it was unveiled a while back, so many players are upset by this because the servers shutting down means they will lose all of their challenges, photos, rewards, and other content forever. What's more, leaderboards are now officially history, and racing against the ghosts of other players won't be possible anymore. Treasure hunts are also a thing of the past. You should bear in mind, if you're keen on the game or trying it, Gravity Rush 2 is still completely playable. All the trophies can be unlocked without diving into the multiplayer modes. On the other hand, dusty tokens are extremely tough to get a hold of now, so yeah, specific outfits and items can no longer be acquired. Now that the time is up and servers are about to evaporate along with so many goodies, gamers were hoping that the developer and the publisher would offer some sort of compromising solution via a potential patch, making items available to everyone. There's still no official word on that from SIE Japan Studio. From a certain angle, it seems like a logical move, to shut down online features that were not used very often, and yet Sony's move to kill the servers so early after launch doesn't look too good, especially when the game's vibrant community enduring such a massive outcry for so many loyal players. So, I missed the Gravity Rush boat entirely. Like, I have it on my Vita. I have the first one on my Vita. And part of me thinks that's kind of where... It's kind of where you fucked up. Like, when Gravity Rush 2 came out, it was very telling of Sony's stance on the Vita to be like, hey, you know that game that people really liked on a handheld console? The sequel's not coming to it. And I understand, like, you're fighting a losing battle sometimes putting games out on the Vita, but your base was there, your fan base was there, and sure they translated over well, as shown here by being able to keep the servers alive for 6 more months with a hashtag. But at the same time, that's a first party game that is so lost in the shuffle. We talk about Sony's exclusives and their original IPs and things like that. And we always talk about God of War, we talk about Horizon, we talk about Last of Us Part 2, Spider-Man, Days Gone. The list goes on and on. Bloodborne, and so many people lose sight of not just Gravity Rush, but the mascot they have in Cat. It's there, and the makings of a franchise are there, but I think it's such an esoteric series that I just never really captured the mainstream. And critically, it's always done well. Just commercially, it's performed poorly. And I mean, we're year and a half after it was released, I think. So it kind of got lost in the shuffle in 2017 too, with everything else. But for them to want to shut the servers down a year after it was out is insane. So like, it shows that they're not going to fight financially what is a losing battle and leaving the servers up and running, despite the fact that there is that pocket, and to be fair, that's what it is in the scope of those that bought God of War compared to those that are buying Gravity Rush. It's a pocket of people that ardently support this game, but it's not enough to sustain it. It's not enough to keep it going. So sad to see, because you never everyone wants to talk about like the missteps, and commercially I think the closest one they've had is Gravity Rush, but the Gravity Rush sequel kind of to me feels also like bringing out a second Mirror's Edge, or just something like that, where it's people going, yeah, there's there's a crowd for this, we want this, we want to get this, and then you don't see it really hit any sales records. And I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. Gravity Rush, like I said, game something I just totally whiffed on, and something I missed entirely. So if it's, excuse me, had a nice cheeseburger right before I did this. If that's something I'm completely wrong about, let me know in the comments. Like, call me out on this shit. You can also write in to psforums.pressxalex.com. I didn't talk about that earlier, but you can always do that. Or follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/pressxalex. Sometimes I tweet the PS Forums link too. Anyways, so if I'm totally wrong about Gravity Rush, let me know. Because I got to keep myself honest here too. Next news. Sorry, I had to take a drink. A limited edition Spider-Man PS4 Pro was announced because y'all knew it was coming. The special bundle includes a fully customized, amazing red 1TB This is Mary Yee from the PS blog, from the PlayStation blog. Sorry. This special bundle includes a fully customized, amazing red 1TB PS4 Pro console featuring the iconic Marvel Spider-Man Spider, a matching DualShock 4 wireless controller, Marvel Spider-Man game on Blu-ray disc, and digital content. This limited edition bundle will be available across the US and Canada for $399.99 in dollars Americano and $499.99 Canadiano. You can still, I think you can still pre-order it. Pretty sure they were live as the time I recorded this. I don't have the image handy. I'll probably make it the thumbnail, honestly, of the video. So if you're watching the video version, look at the thumbnail. It's probably what it is. So that's cool. We knew it was coming. It looks really cool. It's one of their better special editions, given their recent track record. I'm gonna see if maybe I can't pull it up real fast. If it's not gonna take more than like 10 seconds to find. But yeah, it's more like the shiny kind of system. It's not that matte finish. It's more of a gloss. The controller looks really cool. It's red and the analog sticks are white. So I'm definitely a fan of seeing that kind of stuff. I like the variations of the color schemes. Yeah, I can't get it up in time. That's what she said. And let's see. We may get signal here. So let's do this. This is super professional. If you're watching the audio version or listening to the audio version, I'm very sorry that you're getting super professional video time here. So yeah, there it is. That's the video thumbnail from the PlayStation blog right there. So if you're watching the video version, you can see. If you're listening to the audio version, you can hop over to the video version and check it out, or just do a Google image search. There's that too. So they have a look at it. The red controller, the white D-pad, white face buttons, the white analog sticks, and just the system right there. But like I said, it's more of a gloss finish instead of a matte finish. So it's really pretty. I like the minimalism of it. Could have stood for the center part of the PS4 to maybe be blue, but I can't. I'm not a designer, so there is that. Next bit of news: that if you're interested in the firmware update 6.0 and want to get into it early, beta test signups are open. This is from Shabana Arif from IGN. Signups are open for the PlayStation 4 system software update 6.0. PlayStation 4 players can sign up for the beta test for the console system software update 6.0 in Japan, Europe, and North America. Players need to be 18 or over and have an active PlayStation Plus or PlayStation Now subscription. Sony hasn't detailed the content of the software update, but February's update rolled out UI customization and super sampling. The European link isn't live at the time of this being written. It isn't live yet, but you can sign up in your region, and there's links here, so you can just go to the IGN article. I'll put it in the episode description. Players have up until July 27th to sign up. So if you want to get an early look of what 6.0's got, there you go. You have till the 27th to sign up. Next news story is our good friends at Guerrilla Games are relocating. So this comes from Chris Kerr at Gamasutra. Horizon Zero Dawn and Killzone developer Guerrilla Games is moving to a new office and expanding its team from 250 members to 400 permanent employees. As reported by Dutch paper Het Parool, translated by the folks at Reset Era, the studio will move into its new digs at the start of 2019, and Guerrilla hopes the Switch will allow it to crank out new titles every 2 or 3 years. saying, quote, "We have worked on Horizon for 6.5 years, which is exceptional, but we want to release games in the next 2 or 3 years, both new titles and games based on existing titles," commented Guerrilla CEO Herman Hulst. Hulst revealed the expansion has been planned for a while, with the chief exec claiming he's been looking for the right space to grow the studio for the past, quote, 3 or 4 years, end quote. It took some time, largely because Hulst wanted to keep the team in Amsterdam, but it looks like the new 5-floor, 7,300 square meter opening will now play home to the studio for the foreseeable future. Damn. That's awesome. I love Guerrilla Games. I love their ability to deviate from first-person shooter Killzone and just post-apocalypse, Robo Dino, bow and arrow, Horizon. One of my favorite game of last year. And to have that success enough to not only grow into a new space, but to expand your team from 250 to 400. And to make it 400 permanent employees. Like, that's great. Those are the kind of stories you want to hear. And it seems like they're doing it, for the right reasons, too. It's not just, we need 400 people for Horizon 2. It's like, we want to make new games. We want to build off the franchises we have and churn games out every 2 or 3 years. And that's magnificent. You look at the fact that 2013 was Shadowfall and 2017 was Horizon, but so that's 4 years, and then or 3.5. It was November to February, but so 3.5 years, and then you look at the fact that they've been working on it for 6.5. Like, that's great. Like, shut up. Applause to Herman and the fine people at Guerrilla. Keep just doing what you're doing, man, because it's working, and that's what we want to see. You got to keep that stable, strong, and to expand your team, like I said, and to be able to bring on 150 more people and make it all permanent. That's awesome. Those are the kind of stories you love reading in a world where small studios are closing, or even in some cases large studios get shuttered, or subsets of large studios like you see with Visceral and things like that, get shuttered. But to see a studio be able to not just be like, hey, we're expanding our space, but also bringing on another 150 people for the long term, that's awesome. That makes me happy. That's some good news. In a world of bad, sometimes getting stuff like that's cool. Next news, also from IGN. I just apparently hung out there a lot this week. This is from Nick Santangelo. Fortnite Battle Royale. I forgot to read the headline. Jesus Christ, I am sleepy. Fortnite Battle Royale has made over $1 billion from in-game purchases. This is from Nick Santangelo at IGN. At this point, it's essentially common knowledge that Fortnite is an outrageously successful video game, but market research firm SuperData Research has now put another quantitative measure on just how successful Fortnite is. A new SuperData report via GamesIndustry.biz shows that Fortnite has made more than $1 billion off of in-game purchases alone. The report also claimed Fortnite is only growing in popularity overall, with an upward trend since October of 2017 that saw a huge spike in February that only started slowing in May while still continuing upwards. That slowed May growth was still good enough for a whopping $318 million in revenue. Epic Games may soon have even more opportunities to make money off in-game Fortnite purchases too, as Fortnite may soon be getting vehicle skins, and players are likely about to get the opportunity to gift in-game items to one another. Plus, Epic will soon start generating Fortnite revenue outside of the game entirely once Funko's Fortnite merchandise hits the market. Meanwhile, the Battle Royale genre continues to be the most popular for streaming, with viewers having watched nearly 700 million hours, 83% of which were from Fortnite, of Battle Royale gaming in May. Jesus Christ. That far outpaced the number 2 genre, MOBAs, which racked up 275 million hours of viewing time. I think those Epic Games guys are onto something. The guys and gals at Epic. I think they might have something really substantially popular on their hands. I don't. It might be too early to call. I mean, $1 billion in in-game purchases alone is nothing to scoff at, but, I think they're onto something. For fuck's sake, seriously, that's absurd. Like, you see trends, and you see trends in games, and those trends ebb and they flow and they peak and they valley, and but it just seems like Fortnite is this just unbridled monster that is not being stopped. Like, it's one thing for a free to play game, it's hard to make money in sales, right? But to see it have grossed $1 billion in in-game purchases alone, and it's done so much. And I speak on this so much. I think I've talked about it since episode 5. Really, the fact that they listen to the community, like they're all hands on deck with the community, and they listen and they adjust and they roll out seasons. They keep the game changing and fresh, and they add new modes, and they're doing a lot right, and so much so that when everyone was wondering what's gonna stop PUBG, who would have thought that it not only would have been Fortnite, but Fortnite would have come and conquered the market the way that it has, and cornered it the way that it has, and to come out and create, not create, but to gestate and inadvertently give birth to a whole series of copycat games. You saw it with like the Royale games and the match 3 like Candy Crushers and stuff like that in the mobile market. And this is that mobile idea applied to console gaming, and we've seen it a lot with like GTA Online and what's probably going to be Red Dead's online's infrastructure. But to see it amplified in such a way that Epic has with Fortnite is just off the rails insane. And the issue I think that you're going to run into, that I think other developers are going to run into, so many developers and publishers are going to want battle royale modes in their games because that's what the kids are doing, that's what the ninjas playing, that's what Drake's talking about. Or you've got people not knowing anything, not knowing the origins of certain things, and just knowing them as Fortnite dances. It's a thing where, as more battle royale games flood the market, like, they're not taking any of the market share away from Fortnite. That's the big takeaway from that, is Fortnite's still trending upwards. Even if it is a slow May, it's still ticking up. It's a thing where if you have a game that is, if you have, let's do this. If you have 12 games that have online space for 100 people, you're assuming that there are 1,200 people at the ready wanting to play 12 different battle royale games, and that's not the case. And you saw that with how the Calling 2 was rolled out. You get a game that's like Fortnite that just has the market so by the throat and by the small bits and everything, that its staying power is not, it's unrivaled, and it's not something that people are able to take down or put a dent in. You even see, we saw it with H1Z1 where like 10 million people have downloaded it and played it, but you're not seeing the concurrent numbers, whereas Fortnite has no problem rolling out, concurrent numbers, or rolling out that, 83% of these 700 million hours of streaming that was watched with just battle royale games, 83% of that is one game. It's, I went to go pick up my son from my wife's aunt's house, and their youngest was watching Ninja play Fortnite. Like, it just permeates. Another example is I talked to my boss at my other job, the one that pays me, and a coworker was talking about Fortnite and streaming in season 5 and the battle pass, and she looked at us and she goes, "It's so sad that I know what all of that means." Like, it's the new, is that a Nintendo? It's that new where people see games and they're just like, "Oh, is that Fortnite?" Like, it's just mainstream. It's the zeitgeist. It's what everyone hears about. It's being attributed to video game addiction and things like that. It's the new enemy of the media in terms of games. Not in terms of the gaming media. I think we're all just sick of fucking talking about it, but it's the nemesis of like mainstream news outlets for like, is your son playing too much Fortnite? A few weeks ago, I got on a real saucy Twitter thread of my own, because some local high schools were, one coach was talking about Fortnite in a negative light and things like that. And another soccer coach was talking about it in a positive light. And the guy that wrote the article was very tropey about it. Was very like, oh, your kid's not leaving your basement. It's probably because of Fortnite. Fortnite's basically, which heads up to anyone that's listening to this, that's an aspiring journalist or news writer, don't ever start a description of something with basically. Don't. That's amateurish, and that writer is amateurish from the Cincinnati Enquirer, and his Twitter account is suspended, and I can't remember what it is right now. But yo, Cincinnati Enquirer, what's up? Holla at your boy. I'll write about video games for you because you fucking need help. Anyways, so Fortnite continues to be absurdly successful, and as they continue to roll out new features, it's just going to make more money. It is the battle royale version of the Sony first party studios, where everyone's just kind of waiting for them to either burn out or misstep. And so far, it has not happened yet. Next bit of news, it's required reading. So I'm not going to read the whole thing because that's a disservice to the fantastic interview that this is. So again, episode description on both the video and audio version of the show. You will be able to find this link. It is Sean Murray's first interview since before No Man's Sky launched. It's with Keza McDonald at The Guardian. So again, I'm just going to read some bits and pieces here. I don't want to read the whole thing, A, because it's long, and B, again, Keza deserves the clicks. The Guardian deserves the clicks. Excuse me, good people over there. Sean Murray does not like talking to the press. He says this several times when we meet at the Guilford offices of Hello Games, development studio he founded in 2008 with Grant Duncan, Ryan Doyle, and David Ream. He is loquacious but nervous. No one at the studio has spoken to any journalists for nearly 2 years, since the release of Murray's pet project, No Man's Sky, an extraordinarily ambitious space exploration game that aimed to put an infinite universe on a games console. A game that, when it didn't meet some players' players' high expectations, triggered an appalling internet harassment campaign that left the small studio and its staff reeling. It's hard to blame him for his hesitance. Talking to the press is partly what led to Murray's ordeal in the first place. As the visible creative lead of No Man's Sky, the person who talked up the science fiction game and its enormous ambitions in interviews before it was released, he bore much of the ire when features promised during development were not present when the game came out. One poster on Reddit drew up a list of everything Murray had said in interviews about No Man's Sky, cross-referenced it with what was actually in the game. And cross-reference it with what was actually in the game. It was not flattering. The press didn't attack Hello Games when No Man's Sky turned out to be a different game than the ones some players had expected. Most reviews noted its emptiness, but critics also praised its lonely mood. As moving and aesthetic, and the astounding technical feat of generating an entire universe of planets and systems complete with procedural flora and fauna. But unwittingly, the press gave the attackers ammunition. After a couple of weeks, disappointed players moved on, and the angry ones were all that were left. Murray says, quote, "The internet is really good at knowing when somebody has made a mistake. It's not necessarily the best at determining the most appropriate response, but it's really good at knowing when somebody has messed something up. We definitely messed up a whole bunch of communication. I've never liked talking to the press. I didn't enjoy it when I had to do it, and when I did it, I was naive and overly excited about my game. There are a lot of things around launch that I regret or that I would do differently." End quote. He is reluctant to relive the particulars of what happened in the weeks and months following No Man's Sky's release in August 2016. Quote, "I find it really personal and I don't have advice for dealing with it," he says. But it involved death threats, bomb threats sent to the studio, and harassment of people who worked at Hello Games on a frightening scale. They were in regular contact with Scotland Yard and the Metropolitan Police. "We didn't talk about it, but it was as bad as things can get, basically," Murray says. "There's a smorgasbord of things that the angry mob can do. It's a crowdsourced thing of how bad you can make someone's life. I remember getting a death threat about the fact that there were butterflies in our original trailer, and you could see them as you walked past them, but there weren't any butterflies in the launch game. I remember thinking to myself, maybe when you're sending death threats about butterflies in a game, you might be the bad guy." Let's see, it goes on. So it's in light with No Man's Sky Next coming out. So it's talking about the updates and things like that. So it goes on. The update called No Man's Sky Next doesn't betray the spirit of the game. It is still meditative and calm, and hazards come in the form of toxic rain or freezing planetary conditions rather than hostile aliens or other players. There's nothing to shoot, nothing to conquer. You're still a tiny speck in an infinite universe. It's just that now you have some company. It's possible for players to attack each other or dogfight in space, but the game is designed for cooperation. Murray described it as as a Star Trek away team vibe. End quote. Going further, No Man's Sky was what we wanted it to be when it launched, he maintains. We also talked about the feeling of landing on a planet that no one had been on before. It was lonely. It had a nice, calm, ambient moments to it, but we always wanted to expand it. If you played the original game for 20 hours, you probably got the experience that we wanted, but you probably would have never picked up No Man's Sky again. Murray continues, quote, there were a lot we got right. They made a cool, innovative, weird, ambitious game, something interesting and different in an industry where that doesn't happen very much. They delivered on something no one else had done before. It's a game that doesn't really have classic compulsion loops or anything like that. It's relaxing, therapeutic, meditative. It's a chill game. You don't hear people say they're addicted to No Man's Sky, but people do play it for a long time. Let's see. Going further. Let's see. So then talks kind of about the development and the immense the strain of trying to get the game out to launch. Murray says, in the lead up to launch, oh my god, I would have chopped off my own arm to have more time. We were under enormous pressure from the community and external forces. We were out of money. We were working so hard, way too hard. We've gotten much better balance in our lives now, but if we hadn't released No Man's Sky when we had, and I was sat down talking to you now after we delayed it for 2 years, we would not have a game as good as it is right now. Now and then you'll see a comment thread where somebody will say, it's my favorite game of all time. That's fantastic. I never expected to work on something that would have people saying that about it. So again, read the whole thing. It's a fascinating look into a game that's mired in controversy. Also, again, it's vastly different from what it was when it launched. So there's also that. A couple things to unpack here. Starting first with this video game mob mentality of when people don't get their way. That's got to stop. Like, collectively. You know, yeah, I bought No Man's Sky. I was moderately disappointed. I made the most of the time I spent with it. I just kind of realized, like, I got real sucked in when I first started playing. I just, like, looked up and I was like, oh, shit, 5 hours have gone by. But after that, I kind of, dissected, like, the game's loop. It's not for me. I don't like it, and I moved on to something else. But I think some of the expectations were a little too hot coming in. They came in a little too hot. But also, I mean, Murray is somewhat to blame for that. As he said, like, he was very excited talking about it. There's plenty of, videos online dissecting when and where he said certain things that didn't appear in the game. And then I think Sony's to blame for that too. Like, they was an exclusive, and Sony's marketing could have gotten out ahead of that storm and, like, gone to Hello Games, gone to Murray and been like, yo, like, chill, relax. If this is not what this is, if this is not what you're saying, shut up for like 3 days and just quit talking about it. But they kept, wheeling him out, and they were, Sony was up on stage going, No Man's Sky, look at it, isn't it great, it's so cool. And then Sean Murray comes out and is like, you're gonna do this, and this, and it wasn't the case. So there's so many pieces of this puzzle of where blame should be put, but the reaction and the outcry solely falls on those that reacted that way, and fucking get over it. Like, that's life. Sometimes you're gonna get dealt a shit hand, and you're not gonna get what you wanted or what you were promised, or you built something up too much in your own head and it comes out and there's not butterflies in the game. You don't call it a bomb threat for that. Just gotta relax. I think this is a really good opportunity, though, since No Man's Sky is coming out on the Xbox One now too, with No Man's Sky Next, and get this update to kind of find new life, new balance. It's an opportunity for them to grow a new audience, for a whole swath of console gamers that didn't get this game the first time that are getting a whole new game than what people like, me or maybe you did when the game came out. So I think that's exciting, and I love being able to get on like the PS4 subreddit and seeing people being like, "Hey, like No Man's Sky is $6. How is it?" And the threads be like, "It's so much better. Like I'm so glad I hung with it." Like to see the comments saying, I've never seen anyone say it's their favorite game of all time, but I'm sure that is for some people. And I wanted so badly to like the game, but I didn't. And it's a game that I'll never go back to. I did my time with it, and it was whatever for me. But for some people like that's like this where games just stop for them, where they're just like, "Yep, nope, I got No Man's Sky. I don't need anything else right now. I'm good." And that's awesome. Like, and there's just like I said, there's that swath of incredibly overreactive people that don't get their way, and they think the best course of action is to, you know, fucking write sending bomb threats or like send death threats on the internet. Like, stop it. Go outside and scream at the sky. Like, go yell at a cloud. Go fucking scream in the sewer or something. I don't know. But like, don't send death threats over video games. We're trying to grow this as a medium. This is still a nascent medium in terms of entertainment, in terms of art. And there's still so many people that are making a lot of us look really bad, because that's what people hang on to, is like, oh, this game is that the game that the guy got death threats for? It's like, we don't want to be remembered for that. And I could go on for days about how this, if you were to put a pin into a good branching moment into when this started, and where these crazies, and that's what they are, they're crazies, fucking at me. Press X Alex on Twitter. Y'all are insane if you send death threats to video game publishers over anything. And over anything. There's no reason for that at all, ever, to anybody. But you've got these group of literal humans that are making a thing that you love. They're sitting there going, "Hey, you love Thing? We love Thing too. Here is Thing for your thing." And people are going like, "I will kill you. I will literally kill you." And that's not how you react to that. No universe. Is that a procedural or otherwise? Is that okay? Fucking stop it. And this all started with Mass Effect 3 and the ending. Trying to report BioWare to the Better Business Bureau, and then BioWare rolls out this new ending, and then a group of people were like, "Oh, they listened to us." And they fucking pulled the moss off their house and ripped all the ivy off their windows, and they came outside, hissed at the sun, and now they have opinions about everything that warrants death threats. Shut the fuck up. Move on. If you didn't like No Man's Sky, you didn't like it. And that's fine. That's called an opinion. And that's a rational belief for something. But when you're going out and you're threatening Sean Murray or his team of people at Hello Games, the makers of the fine Joe Danger, mind you, which also should have given you a very good idea of the expectations you should have had, you just make everybody look bad. The one bad apple. This is a lot more than one, but one bad apple, man, just makes the rest of us just look like a bunch of dorks. But no, I'm super happy that they were able to rebound the way that they have with No Man's Sky, and to wheel out a game that people love, and where they're like, yes, this is the game that I've wanted. I'm glad I stuck with this. Props to them. Like that. I'm interested to see what their next game is, because for the longest time I was thinking, well, this is the end of Hello Games, and now you're starting to kind of see not quite a phoenix rising out of the ashes, but you're starting to see the ashes stir, and whether next is this, commercial success and critics get their hands on it and like, yep, this is much better, is one thing. But I think that the telltale sign of how Hello Games fully comes back from No Man's Sky is how their next game is going to be. And then that's probably going to be a ways off. Like, they're a small team. They've spent most of their time atoning for sins they feel they've committed. and basically making version 2 of, or 3 or 4, I guess, in some aspects and some of the size of these DLCs for free. Also, need I remind you, and just try and make what they feel is like a wrong, make it right. So props to them. I'm excited for them to see what they do in the future. But read that article. It's awesome. It's a really insightful look into how terrible humans can be, and also how great we all can be if we work together and believe in something. But that is it for the news. So let's get some new games and dates. 2D action platformer Death's Gambit is coming to PS4 August 4th. The historically inspired narrative adventure 1979 Revolution Black Friday comes to PS4 July 31st. Arcade party brawler Brawl Out comes to PS4 August 21st. The graphic adventure Stay comes to PS4 this summer. Dungeon Crawler RPG Unexplored Unlocked Edition is coming soon to PS4. And I'm just going to double check a couple things, but I think that's it. So if that's the game, I feel like one more was announced today, but Astrobot Rescue Mission deploys to PSVR October 2nd. That was the other one. So those are the games that are coming out in the future, but if you want to get on the PlayStation Store this week and see what's new, then you came to the right place. So let's do the drop. Aces of the Luftwaffe Squadron comes to PS4 Digital. Every end is a new beginning. When Europe seemed to be freed, a secret German commando called the Aces of the Luftwaffe took their chance to strike back and invade the USA. It's your duty to restore peace and liberty by climbing aboard deadly wings of steel and fight against the fearsome war machines and bombastic air battles. I looked into this to Aces of the Luftwaffe real quick. It is a top-down, shoot-'em-up, bullet hell game. So if you liked games like Raptor or like Ikaruga, or R-Type, check Aces of the Luftwaffe off. I don't know how it's going to play, but based off the look of it, I'm in. I'm 100% on this game. Next is Earhart, Tales of Broken Wings, comes to PS4 Digital. Earhart is a diesel punk airplane action game where every colorful level is built on top of the previous one, all the way up to the stratosphere. Banner Saga 3 comes to PS4 Digital July 26th. Banner Saga 3 is the final dramatic chapter in the mature, story-driven Viking RPG series, which has won more than 20 awards and has been nominated for 4 BAFTA awards. As the world continues to crumble around you, who can you trust? How will you protect your allies? And what choices will you make as the darkness draws near? Speaking of the Banner Saga Trilogy comes to PS4 both digital and retail July 26th. Weave your own thread through this epic Viking RPG adventure with the Banner Saga Trilogy. Guide your caravan across the landscape of a breaking world where the sun has stopped in the sky and the gods are dead. That's morbid, man. I always mean to check out Banner Saga, and I never do. I feel bad about it. I'll get there. Bud Spencer and Terrence Hill Slaps and Beans comes to PS4 Digital. Bud Spencer and Terrence Hill in their first virtual adventure, a brand new story. Whether in the Western Saloon, Miami downtown, at the fairground, etc., you'll get the full load of funny conversation, slaps, and of course, lots of mass brawls. I talked about this on Trophy Talk a couple weeks ago. I had no idea what the hell Bud Spencer and Terrence Hill Slaps and Beans were. But it was like an Italian Western comedy kind of dealy. So that's that. Seems that is very niche crowd. It's a 2D like beat 'em up. So there's that, and there's like go-kart racing or something. I don't know. It's weird. Check it out. Slaps and Beans. Candle, The Power of the Flame comes to PS4 Digital. Candle is an adventure with challenging puzzles. Play as Teku, a young novice on a dangerous journey to rescue his tribe's shaman from the evil tribe of the Wakcha. Detached comes to PSVR Digital. Enter space and become an astronaut in Zero G. Detached is a space exploration VR game that demands tactics and skill to survive. Game Tengoku Cruisin' Mix comes to PS4 Digital out July 26th. Game Tengoku Cruisin' Mix is an enhanced port of Jellicoe's classic 90s vertically scrolling shooting game. Gnome's Garden 3 comes to PS4 Digital. The gnome princess has finally come home. She managed to make peace with the trolls and befriend their queen, but at home evil was afoot. A warlock collector stole the gnome monarch's castle along with the royal family. I've not gotten to do this in a while, but what is the game? Hello Neighbor comes to PS4 Digital and Retail. Out July 27th. Hello Neighbor is a stealth horror game about sneaking into your neighbor's house to figure out what horrible secrets he's hiding in the basement. Mega Man X Legacy Collection 1 and 2 comes to PS4, Digital, and Retail, and also sold separately. Own all 8 titles in the epic, action-packed Mega Man X saga. Test your skills in the new X Challenge mode, which pits players against 2 deadly bosses at once. Narcosis comes to PS4 Digital. Stranded on the seafloor with low light and few tools, an industrial diver takes desperate steps to surface before his dwindling oxygen and sanity give out. It's a real deep underwater horror adventure game. I really want to play it. I swear to God, if I have to fight or encounter a female anglerfish, I will scream. The Persistence comes to PSVR Digital. Caught in the inexorable pool of a black hole, and with the crew mutated into horrific and murderous aberrations, it's down to you, a clone of security officer Zimri Eater, to save the ship and make the jump back to Earth. Phil's Epic Philipix Adventure comes to PS4 and PS Vita Digital. Create beautiful pixel art as you reveal 120 amazing photographs from Phil's epic trip around the world. Hold the fucking phone. Again, I'm sorry, if you're listening to the audio version, you may want to switch over to the video version because y'all need to see this gem of some cover art. Look at that. Look at that right there. That is Phil's Epic Adventure in all of its glory. All right. Remothered Tormented Fathers comes to PS4 Digital July 25th. Remothered, Tormented Fathers is pure and realistic survival horror. The story revolves around Rosemary Reed, a fascinating 35-year-old woman who reaches Richard Felton's house in order to investigate the disappearance of a girl called Celeste. Sea of Memories comes to PS4 Digital July 26th. Challenge your mind with puzzles based on optical illusions. Find the perfect angle by rotating the pieces to clean up the chaos. Train Sim World comes to PS4 Digital and Retail. Train Sim World is a first-person train simulator that brings to life the experience of operating powerful and realistic trains on some of the world's most amazing railways. V-Robot, or VRO... Okay, we're doing this again. It's V-Robot, but if you look at it, the VR are different colors and in caps and larger. So is it Vrobot? VRobot? V-Robot. VRobot. VRobot is an action game designed for VR about a giant robot smashing cities using unique weapons or bare hands. And those are your games for the week of July 24th. So with that, let's do Trophy Talk. Let's see, I have pulled up Narcosis and I have pulled up The Persistence. Those were the two most interesting. Actually, let's pull up Earhart. I'm interested in that one. So, we'll see Train Sim World. See if there's anything interesting. What are train trophies like? So the first one up is Narcosis. It has 4 bronze, 5 silver, and a gold. What the fuck? Where's the platinum? I'm gonna get at these guys. They just made the list. I haven't done the list in a while either. The Narcosis, you just made the list. Locate unlucky Uzo or riot while your world's turned upside down. Recover 1 personal effect for each member of the Ocean Nova crew. Evade an octopus ink blast. So there's some octopi in here. All right. Locate the lifeless mother cuttlefish surrounded by her spawn. That sounds awful. Use a flare to distract a cuttlefish. Defeat a cuttlefish before it gets too close for comfort. Oh, son of a bitch. Defeat an anglerfish before it gets its grip on you. Be prepared for a video of me screaming. The Persistence has 32 bronze, 7 silver, 4 gold, and a platinum. Enter the research deck after the tutorial. Plot the jump vectors home on research deck. Refill the star dive. Make any schematic. Make an epic of each suit, teleporter, shield, harvester, and suit. The Persistence seems like it is a pretty in-depth VR game. Okay. Melee kill a berserker with a stem cell harvester. Find a crew member artifact. Use the environment to kill 10 enemies. So if you got a PSVR, check out the Persistence. This seems like it might have some meat on its bones. Earhart. 11 bronze, 2 silver, and a gold. Not quite making the list like Narcosis there did. Let's see, you've made your first weapon. You've crafted every single weapon. You've returned home from Snowcrest altitude. Don't give up. You're so close to reaching the stratosphere. You own every piece of every airplane in the game. How come you're still living in the underbelly of Granaria? Probably because it doesn't have a fucking platinum. It's probably why. It's probably why I'm still living in the underbelly of Granaria, is because your game didn't have a platinum trophy, so I don't feel like I accomplished anything. Sorry. You successfully defeated the Liliane, the mobile pirate airbase. This seems interesting. You successfully defeated the whale and uncovered the truth behind the mythos. Might be worth checking out. I don't know. Time permitting. Train Sim World has 8 bronze, 10 silver, 7 gold, and a platinum. 26 total trophies. So what are some of these train game trophies? You tell me. Reach a speed of 125 miles per hour in the HST. Reach a speed of 90 miles per hour in the Class 166. Operated the Class 43 HST for 430 miles. None of this means anything to me. I feel like this is for people who really like trains, obviously. Coupled to 380 freight cars. Completed all scenarios on the NEC New York. Completed all of the available services. Collected all collectibles on the route. Interesting. A lot of train-based trophies, which I guess I shouldn't really surprise me, but that does it for us on trophies, which means that does it for us on this week's episode, because this has been the PlayStation Forecast, a show that comes to you each and every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on youtube.com/PressX2Alex and podcast services around the globe, including Spotify and iHeart and TuneIn and CastBox and Blueberry and Overcast. If you like the show, you can support it best by subscribing to it on your podcast service of choice, leaving a review for it. You can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/PressX2Alex. If you listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, please hit the 5 stars. Write a review if you're feeling extra crazy. And like I said, it helps out so much. It's something so little. You know, there's a Twitter thing about how likes are free. 5-star reviews are also free, and it just helps me out. If you like the show enough, please consider doing that. It means a lot to me, and once I start getting some new reviews, then I'll incorporate them into the show as well. If you want to get involved in the show, the best thing you can do is write into psforums.pressx2alex.com with your questions, comments, concerns, news, and whatever the hell else you want to talk to me about. I'm all ears and eyes because I can't hear your forum posts. But again, I know it's a lot of links, and all of them will always be there for you in the episode description on both the video and audio version. That's it for me. Until next week, thank you all again. Do the thing, and I'll see you next time.